Hey everybody, what's up from Roll, Minnesota, your state of skate. Hey, I'm Butch Lehman, and today we're in for another episode of Rolling Reactions. So in this episode, we're going to be looking at the rollerblading stuntsman. We're talking about Mathieu Ledoux, and his skating is entirely different from just about anything you've ever seen. He combines elements of free running, parkour, traditional skating, and some of his own dramatic flair as a Hollywood stuntman into his skating. He's super talented and definitely original, and that's what I love most about him. So today's dedicated to Mathieu, and I think you guys are going to like this, especially if you haven't seen some of this older footage before. It's definitely worth that trip down memory lane. Anyway, let's roll into it. All right, this first video is a section he produced out of Arizona, which is where I believe he was living at the time. As you can see, he's got the Valo hat on. That's the company he's skating for. And you're going to see a lot of hand plant upper body usage in his skating, as well as some pretty scary upside down style tricks. He's definitely an amazing skater, though. I love his originality. Check this out. It's like a fast plant monkey flip type of thing. I don't even know what to call it, but you know, you can see the influence he's had from his acrobatic skills, his parkour, his free running, and you know, you're going to see that in every one of these edits. Highly unconventional, but super cool. Check that out. We got the fast plant up to alley-oop fish, demonstrating some of that more traditional style skating, but a very unconventional way to go about it. This is really cool. Like hand plant into a backslide. He even throws the grab into that one. Not an easy trick to do. You know, I think a lot of us as rollerbladers that have been doing this for a long time, you know, when you inline skate, you develop that sense of body awareness and position in the lower body, but incorporating the upper body into stuff is something that not a lot of people do, and I think there's a lot of possibilities in that area that remain relatively unexplored. Really cool, like, drainage bank here. Like, this place looks really fun. That was steezy. Going up and over. You guys will have to remind me what that's called. I knew at one time, but where you, like, hands out in front and leap over a ledge. That wall flip was really cool. You guys know I'm all about the flips, and I like the spin tricks and some of the aerial variations. So seeing them brought into a street environment, I'm all about that. I like the fast plant on the rail. Decent sized stair gap, too. Going up, back in. Nice 270. Another spot that looks really cool. Look at that. We'd call that here in Minnesota the true spin backslide, but either way, it's a 270 into a backslide, and you're spinning the blind way. So really tough trick there. Got a lot of respect for that one. There's some free running. Look at that, keeping the legs really close together, which is a lot harder than it looks. Tough to balance that way. Another spot that's pretty cool, and what I love is just the exit, like the dismount on that with the wall hand plant flip. I don't even know what to say to that. That was cool, though. Now this drop in looks terrifying. That is so much vert. This is definitely something that I think is a cool trick and something that I wouldn't mind trying myself. I bet it's way scarier when you're on top looking down that thing. Anyway, cool piece from Mathieu Ledoux out of Arizona. Switching things up a little bit, this is the edit that really got my attention from Mathieu Ledoux. This is pretty old. I want to say this is like 12 or so years old. I'm not exactly sure on the date here. But he's got the skate park, and he shredded this thing in a series of different edits. Skating a park unlike anything I'd ever seen at the time. I guess I've seen some stuff that's on a similar type of style, but nobody's been able to fully replicate Mathieu's skating. That alley-oop top acid. And I don't even know how to, like, approach the physics of that, and I'm pretty good at hand plants. And you know, like doing the Phillips 66 is one of my favorite tricks. So I'm gonna have to learn some of this. I remember he has some cool lines in here too. Charging in fakie. The full alley-oop topsoul. That's another really tough grind variation. Topside mistrial down the rail. And you know, that like fakie bio 540 is something that a lot of people find really natural on a quarter pipe. but doing it on a bank or a slant or a wedge is so much more difficult because you don't get the same kind of pop. I think this was my favorite trick though, the top sole to wall flip. Like there was a time that I was legitly trying to learn these and I just couldn't figure out like how to change the body position on that. So it's a lot harder than it looks. Man, 270 back fast slide. Looked like he put very little weight on the hand on that one. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of inspiration that can be taken away from watching this type of skating. Like that's another wall flip. That time it was like a straight air into it. And I'm hoping that we see more of this kind of evolution in blading. And that's really what it is over all of the years, new tricks have been designed, new styles have emerged, just been this non-stop evolution. And it's really cool to be in the midst of that, to be skating long enough to be in an era where all those new possibilities are being expanded. And, you know, you watch a guy like Eugen Enen, and he's just taking that to the next level as well. So just a state of constant progress, continuous improvement, maybe we could call it. All right, what's coming next? It's a perspective shot. Oh, no, okay, it's a tracking shot. I'd call that a flat spin 540. This park looks really fun, by the way. Like, I love ramp skating. Plazas aren't really my thing. I'd rather have big ramps to skate. Got another wall flip. And this is the kind of place that I'd want to skate. I think we get some behind the scenes filming for this edit now. Yeah, I think we get to see some of the failed attempts on that. But I mean, that's a lot of distance to cover with only the hands. Was that a fakie 7 on that one? Went by pretty quick, but I think that was a fakie 7. All right, this next section is actually the very first section that I ever saw from Mathieu Ledoux. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. Sounds French to me, so I'm assuming that's right. You guys can let me know if I've got that totally wrong. But I remember being completely dumbfounded that this was a skater that was out shredding in this way that I had never heard of before. For me anyway, he just kind of came out of nowhere, and it was instant likability. As soon as I watched it, I was like, I want to follow this guy. Huge 360 gap there. Like, what? This was so unconventional for the time, and it was fresh. I think that's one of the things that's really cool about blading right now. You know, there's a lot of debate over, like, going back to the era of hammers only. Speaking of which, here's a hammer for sure. But, I think some of this creative skating is so fresh, unique, and original that it's really grown on me and a lot of other bladers, and when it's done right, it just opens so many doors. So I can say nothing but good things to all the people that are out there that are taking the sport in new directions. By the way, a shout out on that one, the like full pipe backflip, open loop backflip. I think it was Joe Atkinson that got a lot of media attention recently for doing one of those. Always a really impressive trick to skaters, to non-skaters. This just looks dangerous. Like, the probability of hitting your head jumping through that tube, astronomically high, so I'd probably stay away from that one. And, you know, how often does somebody just, like, look at a dumpster and go, like, there's a trick here? This one, too, blew my mind. It's like wall ride flat spin or wall ride flip. Who was it that did one of those? I think it was Julian Cadeau at one of the Park Series competitions. You guys can remind me on that. But he did like the craziest wall ride to flip. Wall ride gap over the rail. Another tough looking one. Ooh, you guys see that? That was a pretty bad scorpion on that fall. You guys ever like start doing handrails by learning the hand up to the handrail? That looked deadly. I don't know how much I'd trust that ramp either. That thing was homemade. Just like a piece of plywood chilling there. All right, this last section we'll take a look at is actually one of the more recent sections that I've seen from Mathieu Ledoux. I know he posted up like a full edit here just in the last couple years, I think. But we'll take that one for another day. It's a really great one. But this one is from Arizona. You know, Arizona has all the like coolest drainage ditches out there. You think of like Dustin Latimer and skating drainage ditches. So I'm envious of that. But carving some big speed into that one. I don't know if this is the same drainage ditch or an entirely different one. Like I said, though, Arizona has those spots for sure. It's a really cool spot. Using the underbars. That's never been one of my strengths personally. Man, we're getting that wall flip on the street now, too. Yeah, the underbars have never been one of my personal strengths. I've seen a lot of people kill the underbars. Chris Farmer has some ridiculous like underbar to topside bar transfers, which boggle my mind, make no sense to me. Like how he has no reservation about just skating through the water at the bottom. He's like, slippery wheels, that's not gonna bother me. Nice, that just like fit in there perfectly so his wheels were still off the ground. It's like the perfect size ledge for that trick. Really steep angle. You can see they got a little bit of the wheel slide. This is probably my favorite trick in this edit. Like grabs onto the pipe above to do the flip and into the cess slide. So much body control on something like that. Oh, I forgot about this one. This is massive. There's so much that could go wrong with a trick like that. So high level of danger, but perfect execution. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up with this episode on Mathieu Ledoux. Again, he is one of the most creative, original, and innovative skaters out there, bar none. When I first came across this guy, I instantly knew this is somebody I wanted to follow, somebody I wanted to watch, and somebody that I wanted to study and learn from. Ultimately, it's people like that that are pushing the boundaries of the sport, that are bringing in new elements, that open a whole world of possibilities to the rest of us. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate you, Mathieu. Keep doing your thing. Really excited about all the content that you've been putting out over the years and some of those more recent pieces that you've been releasing. So anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up this episode of Rolling Reactions. Again, I'm Butch Lehman of Roll, Minnesota, reminding you to stay safe, stay healthy, and get out there and do some rollerblading. Till next time, everybody, peace.